Hello, and thank you for joining me on another episode of TPAS Member Chat. I'm Ray Watson, the comms manager for TPAS, and today I'm going to be speaking to Linde Carr. Linde is a board member for Notting Hill Genisys. She's been a tenant there for a number of years. She's recently retired from the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, so she's worked in housing and local government. Linde is a fantastic position of having a broad spectrum of understanding and experience of housing. So I'm going to be picking on Linde's expertise on being a board member, her hopes, her challenges, her thinking around what the new normal might look like. And I'm particularly keen on speaking to Linde because she's the first person that I've spoken to on TPAS Member Chat that lives in the capital. So I really want to hear about her experiences working and volunteering and, experiencing what that's been like really in central London during the pandemic. So listen on, and thank you very much for joining me. Hello Linde, and welcome to TPAS Chat.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very pleased.
And just for the listeners, can you just describe what home's like for you then, Linde? What are you up to?
I found it very surreal. We live in the centre of London. We live just by Portobello Road Market. So you can imagine we're used to so many people around. And it's like a ghost town. Today is the first day where there's been any traffic. I haven't been affected too badly because I was one of the people who I caught the virus the day after lockdown, which was the 25th of March. So I have been in bed for quite a long while. I'm up and about now, and the sun is shining, so I'm looking forward to going out.
And so you've kind of been out of action for quite a while. Has your organisation catered for that? How have they been in touch with you?
I must be honest, Notting Hill Genisys, their IT is second to none, because the day after lockdown, I got a call from my housing officer, and apparently they were calling everybody, every resident in the whole of London, to see what we had arranged. Were we okay? Basic things. All of the staff were on remote, but you could still ring. They still had their office number and their mobile. We could still phone in repairs, although they would be heaped up and be dealt with as and when. Of course, if we had an emergency, then they would do that. And for people who weren't sick, they were still doing the gas safety. And then they rang every week. They would ring everybody to see that we were okay.
And what did that mean to you, to get a call every week?
I was astonished because it's a huge organisation. They've got 66,000 properties across London. So, to get an officer ringing me to say, is everything okay? Yes, it is, because my daughter and I live here. But I think it was very personalised service. It made me feel very good.
Mm-hmm. And going back kind of, 6 months, even a year ago, what was involved in your role, and how has that changed now?
I'm a resident board member, which is quite a big role because of how big we are. So the meetings, I would have sometimes 2 meetings a week, and when I did get better, I thought, oh my goodness, how are they going to manage this? And we have remote meetings now. It does work because all of the offices for Notting Hill Genisys are closed. I think there's emergency service at King's Cross, but otherwise everybody is working from home. And I've had now 3 remote meetings and they actually do work. You get used to it. It is. I won't say it's better or worse. It's just different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't look across the table at somebody and raise an eyebrow, but you do get used to it. And I think in the foreseeable future, that is the way it's going to continue.
Do you think there should be any changes to, how things are done going forward, or are you just so new into it now because of just being, just recovering?
I'm still just recovering, so it's quite new. But I think we have to wait and see. I know there's a lot of the staff, they travel in from the suburbs and some much further, and I would rather that they are staying safe rather than coming in a few weeks' time. And if there is a second peak, I dread to think, Mm-hmm. So I think we should keep the remote for the time being and see what happens.
You're the first person I spoke to on TPAS Member Chat that's based in central London, Linda. So it's the 18th of May. We've just recently gone to a kind of change of alert message. What changes have you seen recently being in central London?
Central London. I'm 69, so I've seen a lot in London, and I have never ever seen London like this. At the beginning of lockdown, there wasn't a car driving along, there wasn't a person walking around, and if you went out, my daughter went out for some shopping and was stopped by a policeman and asked what was she doing, where was she going. I mean, totally different way of life. I would look out the window and there was nobody. Absolutely nobody, and it was so quiet. And the one, you have to find good in everything, and the one fantastic thing was you could breathe, you could smell the air was different. Mm-hmm. I think we're very resilient, and we just got on with it. I think people just got on with it and made the most of it.
Mm-hmm. So I was going to say that leads quite nicely onto my next question, actually, about what do you hope remains the same, really? What do you hope your local community hold on to going forward? And I suppose hopefully, the air will remain cleaner for a lot longer.
I doubt that. I think the traffic will come back very quickly. Mm-hmm. But I hope that, I know it sounds really silly, but we're a huge city, and there was a sense of camaraderie. I went out for the first time yesterday, and if the pavement is too narrow, somebody will stop and let the other person go past, so we're not too close. And in the shops, people were kinder. And you're not usually in the city, everybody's running around. It was different, and I just hope that stays.
Mm-hmm. And my final question then, Linda, it's an opportunity for you to give a shout out, really. Is any person, organisation, tool, anything really that you just couldn't be without throughout all of this?
Well, I was unlucky enough to catch the virus very early on, and I got it quite badly. And I was 1 foot away from going into hospital. And the person my daughter got the virus as well, but she got a much milder version, and she got me through. If I would say anybody, I would say it was my daughter Sabina, because she just kept on and she kept her cool, and she was amazing. And I don't think I would still be here if it wasn't for her.
Well, a calm person in a crisis is always someone you need to hold tight, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's a teacher, so I suppose she's used to it. But it was, calm but firm. She was great.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But I would say to everybody, please don't take it lightly. If you've had it, you'll know how awful it is. Don't take any risks.
Well, thank you very much for joining me on TPAS Member Chat, and lots of wise words there from you, Linde. Stay safe.
Thank you very much. Take care. Be safe.